Hello there. What is going on, everybody? It is time for some fun, some hangout. We're going to sit and talk tonight, and we're going to talk about a couple of different things. Everything from Marvel Crisis Protocol to Armada to the new Legion stuff to X-Wing stuff. We just want to hang out. We'll do some Q&A and all of that stuff. So I've got some interesting things to kind of gauge against some of you guys too. So we'll see. So basically, there was a couple of interesting things, and a couple of interesting things put out today, and then changed with regards to Armada, and some other cool stuff happened today with Legion. Big thanks, by the way, to Josiah Burkhartsmeyer from Game Toppers LLC. He was out there in Germany at Essen and managed to secure me a Obi-Wan Kenobi, an Essen exclusive Obi-Wan Kenobi for Legion. That showed up today. So my review for that will be up tomorrow. So make sure you guys stay tuned for that, because that one's awesome. So that's exciting. We've got some new X-Wing stuff coming out. There was some more Legion stuff came out today, and then more and more Legion stuff coming out very soon. And boy, let's see what else is new. Armada, I guess, is the big news. I wanted to give it a little bit of time to let some people kind of trickle in. So we're going to be starting Armada talk here in just a second, and that is it. Before I jump into it, let's my favorite fish. You ask me that every single time, and I always entertain you because it's a silly thing. Let's see, what do we got? There was something cool I wanted to tell you guys. Who was anybody paying attention to this stuff out of BlizzCon? I don't know if you even care about that sort of thing. But BlizzCon is going on right now, and I, as an old school Blizzard gamer, my first online experience on the internet, first time on the internet ever, was playing Diablo at my friend's house. And he connected to the internet, and I thought it was the coolest thing ever. So, yes, so Diablo 4 being announced today was a big deal. I was really excited about that. Diablo 4 finally. And I'll be honest with you, the gameplay footage, while it looks good, it doesn't really look all that new. It looks like it's Diablo 3 with revamped graphics, which I'm fine with. It looks a little slower, like a little bit less like insane than Diablo 3. But like, it's funny because we've hit this point in like video game technology where new technology doesn't really jump leaps and bounds past where previous technology was. Like, once upon a time you had like the Nintendo, and then you had the Super Nintendo, which was a huge jump, and then you had the Nintendo 64, which was a huge jump. And you used to have like, giant leaps in technology. And nowadays it's all about frame rate. So like the actual graphic technology doesn't really seem to jump all that much anymore. So like, granted, I think that's not necessarily a bad thing, because I think video games are gonna have to make improvements in other ways, like as far as content and story and immersiveness and frame rate, which is frame rate is certainly a good thing. So they're having to like think outside the box. They can't just do better 3D graphics anymore. So I'm really excited to see more about Diablo 4. But needless to say, like, the graphics, while they were nice looking, weren't what made me excited about it. It was just the fact that it exists. It makes me excited about it, because they do a good job in learning and improving, usually. Although I don't know if Diablo 3 was that much of an improvement after Diablo 2, because Diablo 2 had so much excellence going for it. But Diablo 3 eventually, like where it is now, is it's a really solid game with the seasons and everything. And then Overwatch is getting a sequel that is exactly the same as the first game, with just a DLC. So that's wild. WoW's getting a new expansion. That looks cool. I don't play WoW, but yeah. Yeah, the whole boycott Blizzard. Here's the thing. My idea was, I'm not really taking a big stance on that. I'm not really pleased with how they handled it, but I don't usually boycott stuff. But I did decide I wasn't going to give Blizzard any more of my money until they get better. So just the fact that they announced Diablo 4 right now, me being hyped isn't promoting their company, really. I'm not giving them any money. It's not going to come out for years. Hopefully 2 years from now they'll do better. That's like, by the time Diablo 4 comes out, I hope they do better. But yeah, so the timing of all this stuff is unfortunate, But yeah, the Overwatch 2 thing. Like, look, I love Overwatch. It's maybe my favorite PC game currently, and only because Diablo 3 is a little bit older at this time. But Overwatch 2 just looks like more Overwatch 1 with just some extra PvE missions and like a character progression system, which is cool. It's cool. But yeah. So what's going to be my first epic build for X-Wing? Oh, Epic's coming out very, very soon. I think it's next week. I am probably going to pick up a CR90. So it'll probably be a CR90. Although, honestly, the Raider looks like it's slightly better. It comes with it comes with missiles and torps, so you don't have to take those ordnance tubes. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, so I don't know. This is going to be fun. That'll be really fun. I really am interested in X-Wing Epic. We're going to talk all about this. But since I did kind of say that I wanted to talk Armada, I want to talk Armada first. So let's talk Armada. So we had an announcement, an article today from Fantasy Flight Games. And in this article, they talked about their live stream schedule. And they had said last month in some of the live streams, people were asking, "Hey, when's Armada stuff?" They said, "Hey, watch for the new stuff. Watch for next month. We're gonna have a new schedule next month. The Armada fans will be happy." So that told me they were going to do an Armada live stream in November. And sure enough, they announced November 19th is the Armada stream. So November 19th, mark your calendars. That's when it's going to be. That's when we're going to get the big Armada. Now that is on a Tuesday. That's going to be a big day. They're going to do the preview for the new ships. So that's going to mean the Onager and the Starhawk. And that means a couple of things. But before I get into what that means, I want to point out what they had said in the article. Because originally, I didn't even pick up on this until some other people had said it. So this is secondhand information. But originally it said the new ships that'll be coming, next year. So everybody was like, whoa, wait. What do you mean the new ships that are coming next year in this article? Like, basically they're saying, join Star Wars Armada action, where they show Brooks and Michael will be on hand to show off the new ships coming next year. So everybody was like, whoa, you said Q4. When did the release date get changed? That's a big deal. And so now it does not say that. It just says on the new ships. Technically what it says right now, it says, join us for Star Wars Armada action on November 19th with a stream showing off the new ships joining the fight. So they changed coming next year to joining the fight. So they're going to be showing off the Starhawk and the Onager. Presumably, they're all, well, not presumably, but we'll also, guaranteed, we're going to learn exactly how salvo works. So get your salvo questions in now. We got to talk a lot about salvo. And we have to formulate the right types of questions to ask. So the ETA so people are asking about Wave 8, and that's what I'm talking about right now, because in this article they said Wave 8 was going to be next year. So they changed that. It's still currently scheduled for Q4 that we know of. I have also heard rumors that it may be out by Black Friday. I don't know how true that is. I've just heard rumors. And boy, wouldn't that be cool, since Friday does happen to be their new release day. It is also possible. The boats, now, some of you guys asking about the boat schedule. Boat schedule is unreliable. They don't always update it when it goes on the boat. The boats usually take 2 months. 6 to 8 weeks is about a standard boat schedule. They're big boats. They move very slow. However, they don't always update it on the day it goes on the boat. Sometimes it's been on the boat for a month before they update it. Sometimes it gets updated from on the boat the day before it's released. There's some things that are in stores right now that are marked on the boat. So, they don't always update the status for that. Some things have been on the boat for, what was it? Some things are on the boat for like 6 months. So anyway, my point is that status isn't always the most accurate thing ever. So with that being said, what do we know about Wave 8? So here's what we do know. That if they're doing this live stream, that means they at least have their production copies, their production samples ready to go, which means they're they're closer. And also in the past, they've been doing live streams when stuff is getting a lot closer to coming out. I wouldn't have guessed that it would be out in November. My guess is that if they're doing it in the 19th of November, that means that also means we can expect articles very soon after. My guess is that we'll have it before Christmas, but I'm guessing somewhere around the second week of December. Basically, with the idea that once the live stream is over, then we're in the window of, okay, here's an Onager article, and then here's a Starhawk article, like the next week, and then the week after that, it's like, or 2 weeks after the last article, it's released. So that would give them a month from the stream, or three weeks maybe to a month from the stream. That's kind of the timetable that I'm estimating, since they went and changed. And here's the thing that makes me think that here's what makes me think we're getting it before Christmas. And the fact that they went back and changed the article from saying next year to saying joining the fight. So it's like somebody said, hey, you said this is next year. It's still on track for Q4. Go back and change it. Right? So a little bit of a snafu there, and then they fixed it. So it looks like, basically that's like kind of like confirmation that it's still on track for Q4. It also could be the fact, what's the word I'm looking for? It also could be true that Black Friday is happening, and they may not have gotten a early production sample to do a live stream with. And it's possible that they're getting their entire shipment in, and then they'll just open the top 2 and put those into the live stream. That certainly may be the case. And if so, then that would make sense, because then they could actually start shipping, because Black Friday is the 29th. So they could probably start shipping it the week of the 11th and have it in stores by the 29th. If they started shipping at the 11th, then they'd already have them when they do their live stream. And I imagine they'd ship pre-orders already. And I have a pre-order. I haven't gotten a pre-order confirmation or anything like that. So I pre-ordered one of each of the Wave 8 ships from Fantasy Flight. So as soon as they get ready, as soon as they get the trucks in from the pier or whatever, however that whole process works, that's when they send out emails and they'll say, hey, you have a pre-order that will be processing soon. So you kind of get that early, that's kind of like them saying, we got your stuff. And that's one reason that I always pre-order from FFG, because it gives a really good update on hey, I can expect my stuff to probably ship next week and then arrive the week after that or something like that. So anyway, I'll be looking for that email here in the next week or two. And if so, then that means we might see Wave 8 in time for Thanksgiving weekend. However, and I would love it for be a Black Friday weekend, because there's always Black Friday sales, so you can go get some extra stuff. That'd be cool. Anyway, so that's what we know about Wave 8. We're going to get a big preview on the 19th. Presumably they will preview some new upgrades. They'll probably be running the new commanders. They'll be running it on it'll be a small list though, because they have that table from California or Carolina game tables, and they can only fit a 3x3 mat on there. So it wouldn't surprise me if they're running like a 200-point list or some kind of small thing, But yeah, so they'll run like a small subset, and they'll just be using a handful of upgrades. And we'll probably get a close-up look at the new commanders, which are already spoiled, so that's not really a big deal. But we will get. I'm sure they'll show off at least one or two new upgrades, and I'm really looking for the point cost for the ships. Look at both of the ship cards in detail, and for each expansion, as well as the what's the word I'm looking for? All the upgrades they can take, and the salvo mechanic. So that's really exciting. So we'll see that on the 19th. Probably will be out before Christmas. I would definitely bet that it will be out before Christmas. The risky bet though is if there are rumors that it's supposed to be out Black Friday. Don't get your hopes up for that though, but that would be really nice. But the fact that they changed the article to say from 2020 back to 2019 basically means that they're still on track for Q4, which is a good thing. It's always a good thing. All right. Now let's transition over to Legion. So we got some cool Legion stuff coming out very, very soon. That is very fun. So Legion is going to... we had the Bark Speeder come out today. The Bark Speeder came out today, and it is amazing. What is this? It's not really that amazing. It's got the alternate head sculpts, so I will be doing a unboxing and review of that. You'll be able to see that here this weekend. So if you were on the fence about buying the Bark Speeder, if you already got the a couple of core sets, you don't really need it. But and it does come with a couple of upgrades. But the thing is that if you got the upgrade card pack, you probably don't need the upgrades that come in it. If you didn't, from what I'm hearing from some folks, the upgrade card packs are out. I guess they're sold out pretty quick. I don't know. So if you can get one, you probably want to grab one. Now, the good news is we only have 2 more weeks until we get Rex and Dooku, which is really, really good right now, because I want to talk about Rex and Dooku. They're going to have such an impact, because right now, if you're running the new factions, you're stuck in like early game syndrome where you really don't have a lot of versatility for your builds. You can only really do Obi-Wan and clones and maybe a Bark, because the clones are expensive and you want to kind of run a lot of clones because they work really well together. I mean, I could see maybe running like triple Bark, Obi-Wan, and like a smaller amount of clones, but I don't know how good that would be. I don't think that would be very good. So, this is going to do a lot of cool things. First off, new commander option is always great. You can run Rex. Rex will be a lot cheaper, so you can max out on clones and run Rex, and then maybe have points left over for extra Barks. That would be fun. I think you could run triple Bark with Rex, and still, I haven't done it all. Figured out like an optimal build for it. But I think you're gonna have the points to try to run max Barks, since the clones are on there, you can basically really max out clones with Rex, and he's gonna be great with them. Dooku is gonna let you what I want to do with Dooku. Granted, I'm gonna play Republic more so, but I want to run Grievous and Dooku together, because that will actually be the first faction to have 2 characters with lightsabers. Kind of. I mean, Sabine has the dark saber, and I guess technically it is a lightsaber, so I guess Sabine and Luke is your first dual lightsaber character, I guess. But yeah, but yeah. So I like the idea of running multiple hero characters. I love the hero characters in Legion, and I kind of want them to come up with a mode where you can just run hero characters. I don't think they're doing that right now, though, because I feel like if you guys are from, I don't know if you've seen any of my videos for Marvel Crisis Protocol, but that's kind of like what that's doing. You have less characters, and it's really cool. Anyway, so yeah, so Legion has a couple more things coming out before the end of the year. We've got Rex and Dooku. We've got the Trooper expansions. So that will be fun. That'll be something for everybody. And I think the R2-D2 and C-3PO and this Crash Escape Pod, hopefully dewbacks finally show up at some point. And then the Crash, or the Imperial Bunker, which I am going to get and review. I'm excited for the Imperial Bunker. Yeah. So, yeah. Let's see what else. X-Wing. So X-Wing is also coming out really soon with their Epic expansion. That's also super exciting. Because Epic. I mean, now a long time ago, when I started playing X-Wing, Epic and the huge ship conversion kit, that's all going to be awesome. So when this came out, or when I started playing X-Wing, I used to play up at Sci-Fi City, which is a game store here in Orlando, Florida. And we all used to just play, like our first game was like a big multiplayer game. It was team-based, but we used to go up every Sunday and just play for fun. It wasn't tournaments. It wasn't very competitive. It was just like, hey, I brought my entire collection. I've got a couple of list ideas. Oh, you want to play? Okay, let's put together a list. 2 more people come in. We'd have like 6 to 8 people, trading off. Like, hey, when your game's done, I'll play you next time. Okay, and then we would trade, and we would just play for like 4 to 6 hours every Sunday, and it became a ritual of mine. And it eventually started to. X-Wing grew more and more popular. More and more gaming stores opened up, and X-Wing turned into like such a competitive thing. At least here, where the reason I say competitive is because a lot of the stores that had people just playing casually decided to monetize it and say, hey, well, now it's going to be a league, and so now you have to pay to play. And by the way, we're going to have a tournament every month. But then that store is also having a tournament every month. And then this store is also having a tournament every month. And so every weekend, and we have a lot of gaming stores in Orlando within like within a 50 or 25 mile radius of where I'm at. So there's gaming stores all over the place. And like every weekend, there was a store having an X-Wing tournament. And so a lot of the people who were serious about X-Wing that would show up and play are now like going to tournaments all the time and driving out for this tournament, driving out for that tournament. And so like there ended up being a lot less just casual play because like everybody who was playing it a lot and playing it significantly, I guess, kind of got swept up in tournaments. Not everybody, but I think that had something to do with it. And it also meant that when you showed up to just play a fun list, you were probably playing somebody's tournament practice list, and so you were going to get completely obliterated when you were just trying to have fun. And so I feel like Epic is going to bring fun, like that casual layer of fun back into the game. Not to say that it's not fun. I have a great time playing X-Wing. But I think like to have a really great time, it's better if you are on the same sheet of music. Like if you coordinate with somebody, hey, you want to play a build? Okay, do you want to play serious or you want to try like experimental or something like that? So like, or you want to play like tournament practice, or do you want to like, I'm going to bring my worlds list. Okay. Then you bring a good one, or like, no, I'm just going to try out something, play for fun. And you can still have a lot of fun with X-Wing, and I generally do. But I usually play at that kind of fun level, like that intermediate. Like I want this list to work, but it doesn't have to win, but I think it can win, and that's kind of how I like to run. So Epic's just going to bring a lot of that real casual, like crazy fun stuff. And multiplayer, which is, multiplayer is so good. Because like one of the biggest problems I've got in miniatures tabletop gaming is that you show up, and you're the third person. Well, you can't play. Or we could homebrew our own thing, and then they're like, all right, last man standing wins, and then somebody just flies around the edge while everybody else blows each other up, and then they move in once everybody else is weaker. So like these multiplayer scenarios are just really cool, especially Aces High. Like I want to walk into a store and they're running Aces High. They got 5 people. We got room for 3 more. Just jump right in. Love it. Absolutely. Because we did. So the Aces High, if you saw the live stream where they were, Aces High is an 8-player, like you get 1 ship. And then, you just build it out and fly. And if you get blown up, you can come back in, which is really, really fun. And we did basically like a test for this. We didn't know it was a test I mean, this was probably already locked in. But basically, they set up a version of this at Star Wars Celebration in the gaming room. And it was just this big fur ball, and they had pre-built a bunch of ships and just had people just fly and jump in, jump out, just keep track of your scores. And at the end of each day, whoever got the most score wins a promo. And whoever got the most kills. So you weren't, it didn't matter if you got blown up. Get back in and try and get some more kills. Whoever got that last shot, it was a blast. I got to play it a little bit. I was working most of it, but yeah, it was super, super fun. All right, let's see. So X-Wing Epic and the huge ship conversion kit will be fun. I don't think I'm gonna pick up every new huge ship that they do. I'll probably just do the CR90 because that seems to be the most different, and also my CR90 has been dropped so many times. I could handle running 2 CR90s, and it might be really fun to run a big epic double CR90 and a GR75, like a super epic game one of these days. That might be real fun. And then Marvel Crisis Protocol. This was up when I started the stream. So Marvel Crisis Protocol comes out on the 15th, and has the potential to become one of my favorite games. I did a review of it. I suggest you check it out. I kind of talked a little bit about the mechanics, kind of how it plays, like a brief summary of it. It wasn't a tutorial, but it was a summary of how the game plays. It's shorter than most miniatures games. I think it's kind of like, it plays a little bit like Legion, but at the same time, it's like if Legion and X-Wing had a baby. You have less characters. Like with the core set, you run 5 versus 5, but you have less characters, but you can do so much more with them, and that's just magnificent. I love being able to just do so much more with a single character, and it's one of the things that I really like. That's why I like the heroes so much more in Legion, and that's one of the reasons I'm really looking forward to the Jedi coming out. And I want to run like a whole army of Jedi if I can, because I love stuff like this, and I love having an army of superheroes as opposed to an army of like Joe Schmoes, like a nameless, stormtrooper or nameless rebel trooper, that sort of thing. So this game, and so I pretty much finished painting my core set. I'm not a very good painter. I mean, I'm all right, but I mean, I look at some of the professional painters out there, and I'm not I guess I'm maybe more of a jack of many trades, but a master of none. And so like, while I can paint, I don't paint nearly as good as people who are good painters. So like, I just wanted mine to be like tabletop ready, and hopefully they'll be recognizable on camera, and they'll look good from that camera distance. But if I get in really close, you're going to see a lot of the screw ups and the mess ups, and that's okay. That's why I did get a magnifying glass though, so I'm going to hopefully do a little better in the future, because one of the things, I'm approaching 40, okay? So as you get older, your eyes get worse, and I don't know if my eyes are just getting worse or they were never that good to begin with. But one of the things that I've noticed is I painted Captain America. I thought he looked awesome. I painted him, and I was like, oh yeah, this is great. He looks good. I got the A on his shoulder, and it's good. And then I took a picture. I was getting ready to post it, but then when I took a picture with my phone, the phone had a much better lens than my eyeball, and like when I looked at it, I was like, oh, I can't post this. This looks terrible, And I was like, why is that? Toothpicks with paint. Oh yeah. Toothpicks do help with painting eyes. One of the things that I'll do sometimes when paint. Well, let me finish my story. So I decided, like I can't just hold my phone in front of my and keep, But it was a good kind of litmus test for like, does it look good under the picture? And if so, then maybe I can post it. So anyway, some advice. And my friend Sean, he actually said, I've got a magnifying glass that really helps me, and it gives you that closeness that like a photo would give you. And I'm like, that's a great idea. So I bought a stand-up desk magnifying glass, and I'm going to use that in the future, and we'll see how that works. It's got little LED lights under it, so I can give that a shot. It seems like that'll be fun. Because I enjoy painting. That's one of the things. Like, I don't do a lot of painting videos of like me actually painting, because as much as I put almost all of my gaming stuff up on YouTube, to try to. There's some things about tabletop gaming I kind of just do for me, and so to keep my love. Otherwise at a certain point I might get overwhelmed. I'm cognizant of that because I love what I do, and I love all of this gaming stuff. But at a certain point, I don't want it to become work. I mean, and it is a lot of work, but I don't want it to become like a job, and I don't want it to become a drag. So I keep certain things just for me that I'm just going to do because I want to make sure that I continue to love what I do. And if I don't love what I do, I'm not going to do it anymore. So that is kind of my mindset of like why when I paint, I kind of keep that just for me. Every once in a while, I'll do like a painting video, tutorial or something like that. I think I did some of that with the Clone Wars, and I've been improving some of my techniques a little bit over time. I've got a little bit better at doing clone troopers and thinning out my wash enough so it goes into the recesses but doesn't make the whole thing look too dirty. So some of my I did at least one unit of clone troopers that looks like a lot cleaner. Still not up there. I still have more improvements that I could do, but I'm having fun with it, and I love it. I really do. I love painting. I love basing. I love playing with them when they're done too, which is really fun. And I'm hoping to try and once Crisis Protocol comes out, when there's more people to play, I'm looking to get more battle reports and things like that going on with that too. But yeah, so Marvel Crisis Protocol, it's amazing. I'm looking to do new formats for it too. It has this whole list building aspect. Like, you bring 10 guys, and then they bring 10, or 10 heroes, they bring 10 heroes. And then after you compare objectives and you eliminate what's going to happen, all right, it's going to be this and this. All right, we got to do all this stuff. Okay. Then you say, this is how many points we have based on the objectives. Then you go back to your 10 heroes and you pull a list that meets that. Usually it'll be like 4 or 5, how many heroes you're going to bring into the game. Based on the point value or the threat value, which is kind of cool. It means you don't have to paint that many things. It means you don't have to bring that many miniatures. If you're going to play, you don't have to bring a whole case with your army in it. You only have to bring like a small box with your 10 heroes in it. So that's kind of nice. But also, there's different ways that you can even approach this. Like for casual stuff, especially if you're the person that has the game and somebody else doesn't have the game, you can just line up all the heroes on the side of the board and then draft them. You can just draft your heroes. All right, you get first pick, I'll get second pick. Oh, you took Cap. Oh, well, I'm going to take Iron Man. I don't want you getting all the Avengers and getting the Avengers set bonus. And you can totally play that way. Like that's not outlined in the rules, but that'd be really fun. And it's a different way to play a miniatures game too. So anyway, point of the matter is I really enjoy Crisis Protocol, and hopefully the expansions that come out for it continue to live up to the fun factor, because playing it is super fun. And I hope you guys, if you're interested at all, get a chance to check it out. There's a lot of stores getting demo copies, so maybe this weekend or next weekend, try and see if you can get a demo of it. I think you'll really like it. It plays fun. It's a little bit lighter than Legion as far as the rules. There's not as much line of sight stuff. It's a little bit more straightforward, a little bit simpler. You're not going to take damage if you jump off a building or fall off a building or something like that. And maybe you should, but you don't. Like if I throw you off a building, you just don't take damage. Little things like that. And I'm not nitpicking about that as much. It's just they simplified the rules a little bit to just get you playing right away. I think they had to draw the balance somewhere, and where they drew it is acceptable to me, because it keeps the game is fun. It's I love it. I absolutely love it. Might even be game of the year. So. Yeah. Anyway, so let's see what else was new today. Well, it was the biggest news was BlizzCon for a lot of stuff. That's for sure. But yes, X-Men. Yes. So a lot of people are asking about X-Men in Crisis Protocol, and Atomic Mass Games is basically they're another studio under Asmodee. They're not going to be operating that differently than Fantasy Flight Games. So a lot of the practices are going to apply as far as a manufacturer and somebody who holds a license from Disney. And what that basically means is, if you look at the stuff they've already announced, it's all stuff that's popular right now. It's stuff that's in pop culture. They're going to be heavily influenced by Disney and Marvel Studios. And what that means is, hey, Marvel's got a new, let's say Marvel, Miss Marvel is going to be coming out. They're making a show for Miss Marvel, Kamala Khan. Very cool. I'm actually really looking forward to that. My niece cosplays as Kamala Khan, and it's and she's a big fan of that too. So it gets me really excited. I'm excited for her. I'm excited for everybody who's because she's got a lot of fans. She's like a relatively newer hero, but it's pretty cool. Anyway, and so I'm sure like when that show comes out, that's we may see like a Kamala Khan for Crisis Protocol, right? Things like that. In the same way that like Rogue One comes out, and then there was some Rogue One stuff that showed up in like X-Wing, and not all of it right away, but So I think basically probably 90% of the product that Atomic Mass Games makes for Marvel Crisis Protocol is going to be driven by what's popular and what Disney and Marvel kind of want them to push. So, I think because of that, certain things are going to be deliberately omitted or delayed until they're at like the most popular, until they're at a good, hey, it's time to promote what I think we'll see next year. I think we're going to see Doctor Strange and Scarlet Witch. Scarlet Witch has that show coming out, and I believe she may be in the new Doctor Strange movie. Doctor Strange has got Into the Multiverse, Into the Multiverse. He's got a Multiverse of Madness movie that's coming out. So I think we didn't see Strange yet, but all the stuff we have seen is stuff that was in Infinity War and Endgame and a lot of that stuff, and that is very popular right now. And so that's why we're getting a lot of that now. MODOK is a little different. Like MODOK's one of the launch stuff. MODOK doesn't fit in anywhere, right? I think I associate MODOK with the X-Men's line of villainry in the X-Men universe. Not universe, but basically I tend to think of him as an X-Men villain. Probably because of the 90s cartoon, he was in that. But I feel like MODOK may be like a little nod to them saying, X-Men are coming, but you're going to have to be patient. Because Marvel's not really going to be doing an X-Men movie right away. Like, it won't even be in 2020. We might see an announcement in 2020, but I don't think we'll see X-Men until 2021. So I think maybe like once that happens, that's when we'll see X-Men. Same thing with Fantastic Four. Once they get ready to reboot those, we'll see that. The next thing, we'll probably see quite a few heroes and villains. I'm going to use the term hero to describe any super, right, or any principal character. We'll probably see some of those characters from the Black Widow movie, which I believe is the next Marvel blockbuster or the next MCU film. I think it's also possible we'll see. It's funny to me that we didn't see any of the Defenders yet. They are going to be in the game, but we haven't seen any of those yet. So I wonder if Marvel wants to kind of wash away all of those Netflix shows, or if they want to embrace those and then like reappropriate them for Disney Plus, or just completely redo them. Like, I don't know what Marvel's plans are for the street level heroes of the Defenders, because I would love to see a lot of those. I'm a big fan of Iron Fist. And to be fair, I probably should invest a little bit more of my love into Daredevil, because really, he uses nunchucks. I mean, they're not exactly nunchucks. They're a little different, right? But, I mean, they're nunchucks. I mean, I don't know. What do you think they are? I think it's because it's weird. It's like nunchucks that can like turn into a staff, a cane, but he's got like, it's like a wire. So he doesn't use them like nunchucks. He uses them as more like a club, like a long range club than a nunchuck. But anyway, but based on that, I should like Daredevil a little bit more. And I loved the Daredevil show, so that was great. But yes, so I'm gonna go up. I missed a bunch of questions and stuff, so I'm gonna, I'll cycle through and I'll try to get them as I can, because I do love talking to you guys. Let's see. I scrolled up back to when we were talking about Diablo. Yeah, I can't wait. So many really cool games that are going to be coming out, and then we got Jedi Fallen Order coming out in 2 weeks. There's a new Rise of the Resistance or Path of the Resistance book coming out next week, though, and that one is going to be huge. That one's going to go into a lot of different stuff too, because Wedge is going to be in that one. Nora Wexley is going to be that one. Characters from Battlefront, and that tells me they're gonna. Let's talk. You know what? Let's talk about episode 9. I am really thinking that they're trying to make episode 9 be like the end game of Star Wars. Like, I think they're going to try and make it compete a little bit with Endgame, which, I mean, it's not. I don't expect it to like. Endgame was like blew me away. Like, it was absolutely insane, especially like the last half an hour of it or whatever. That was amazing. I mean, I am somebody who can cry very easily, especially when something is overwhelming. Like, I will shed tears when I'm overwhelmed, and I love to just let myself go when I watch a movie too. I'm like, I don't usually sit there and microanalyze it and stuff. I may do that after the fact, but when I'm in the seat in the theater, I like immerse myself and tell me the story you want to tell me. You know, I'm able to enjoy even bad movies. Like, I liked Dragon Ball Evolution because I was in the movie theater and I had a good time, and it was the picture quality was good, and I had popcorn, and I'm able to really enjoy any experience because I try to, because I want to enjoy any experience. So that being said, like Endgame, like I think my face was soaking wet for so much of it. The sad stuff and the amazing stuff. I like the amazing stuff most of all. Like the huge battle. You know, when they all showed up, I was just like, yes! You know, like, oh, I would look like a mess. But I love stuff like that, and I feel like they're gonna do that in episode 9 because of this book, like bringing people back. Like Iden Versio's daughter, Zay. Is it Zay? Zay Versio? Or I don't even know if her last name is Versio, or if it's who was the guy? Her father. Anyway, God, Miko. Yeah, is it Zay Miko or Zay Versio? I don't know. But either way, I think she's in this book that's leading into episode 9. So it wouldn't surprise me if they had Iden Versio's daughter in episode 9. You know, so. Like little things like that. It's like they're trying to say, hey, all of the new canon and all of the new stuff that we have introduced, like, I definitely think we're going to see stuff from Rebels beyond just that little scene with the ghost. Like, it may just be that they show the ships, but I think they're going to give people a little, like, I really want somebody. There was something going around on Twitter where, like, Akbar's son is in the comics right now, so we do think there's going to be like a Mon Calamari, like Akbar's son, who's like a General Akbar. And like, you get this whole thing where he says like, "All right, all fighters report in." And you see all the pilots with their helmets, like, and it focuses on each one of them, and you'll see Poe Dameron saying "Black Leader standing by," and then then the next one, and then you'll see Lando, "Gold Leader standing by," every time. But then you're going to get, like, that's the time where they give you, like, all the cameos, right? So after Poe's like, "Black Leader standing by," and Lando's like, "Gold Leader standing by," then you get Wedge, who says, "Rogue Leader standing by," and everybody goes, "Oh!" And then you see Hera, and she's like, "Phoenix Leader standing by," and everybody's like, "Oh!" And then you see, and maybe you do even more, maybe you do a whole lot of those. That's when they might have Zay, and the thing is, that won't even be. Here's the problem: when Hollywood makes a movie, they generally don't make movies that you have to have read books to understand, or that you had to have seen all the movies. Generally, most movies, you have to be able to, like, have never seen another movie before and still go in there and be able to follow the movie, right? And so that fits the formula, because as far as, like, if you weren't familiar with any of those other pilots, you still walk in, you're like, okay, they're just, all the different pilots are checking in. You see lots of different pilots' faces in all kinds of Star Wars movies. You saw it in Episode 4. You saw it in Rogue One. You saw a lot of different pilot faces, and they did some fun cameo work in that one too. So Rogue One did great with the pilot close-ups. It's a really good opportunity to give some love. If Wedge shows up from hyperspace saying "on your left," that would be. I don't think they'll go that blatant, but that would be funny. But yeah, and like so, like there's a lot of jokes on like, or I was coming up with some, like if they do something like that, it's gonna allow for a lot of jokes, like where you can have like, who's Doctor Strange's friend, Hong, where he's like, you wanted more, you can see like something like that happen, or like the horns of Rohan, Wong, thank you, Wong, yeah, where Wong goes, you wanted more, but like there's just so many characters and that they can do, and I really would love to see, like, it'd be funny. I made a joke to say like maybe they'll have Thrawn say like, Blue Leader, I regret this call sign. I resent the fact that you assigned me to Blue Squadron. It's very racist of you. I know Disney wouldn't do that, but yeah, like we may get some kind of Thrawn or Ezra Easter egg in this, or Ahsoka. Ahsoka would be cool. And at the same time, you've got all of your pilots doing this. You're probably gonna have some big ground battle. Here's what I'd love. I would love to see, like, maybe we still don't know if like Palpatine's going to be corporeal, or if I think it's going to be his spirit. I think you're going to have Palpatine's going to be like the Sith version of a Force ghost, and I think you're going to get. It would be cool, like the fan service thing. What I want to see is like the good guy Force ghosts help out, right? Especially like Yoda, like using the whole lightning thing, like he tapped Luke on the head. Like Yoda, like interacted almost a little bit with the physical world. Ochis Ascendancy standing by, yeah. So Yoda interacted a little bit with the physical world, and that was cool. So, just a little bit. But I would love to see like all of the Force ghosts, come back, and I don't even care if you have to come up with some kind of explanation, because Qui-Gon was the only one that could do it, and then it was just Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan and Yoda, and like nobody knew how. Okay, well, like I want to see Mace Windu come back as a Force ghost. I want to see. I definitely want to see Liam Neeson, Qui-Gon. I want to see Anakin, and I'm pretty sure we're going to see Hayden Christensen come back. He was just at Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, so I think we're going to see that. Final trailer showed him on a walker. I don't think so. They showed a robed character from kind of behind, but you couldn't really see. Yeah, there's like I want to see a whole bunch of Force ghosts. Kit Fisto, like Plo Koon, all of these. I would like to see like the whole Jedi Order come back and like have a huge, awesome fight scene. Against like an Ultra Palpatine, or maybe Palpatine raises like an army of Sith ghosts. And maybe we see like a Snoke ghost. Maybe we see a Revan ghost or something like that. Like who knows? Maybe we see Dooku. Well, no, we couldn't get Christopher Lloyd though. They might get somebody who looks, like if they're doing like brief cameos and like a side shot, they might be able to do something, or maybe even reuse some Christopher Lee footage. Did I say Christopher Lloyd? I mean Christopher Lee. But yeah, so I would love to see some kind of epic, like where everybody comes back, for like one last hurrah on the ground, at the same time where you have like everybody checking in the sky, and then you have, because that's one thing Star Wars likes to do. They love to have a lightsaber battle or a ground battle going on at the same time there is a huge space battle going on. I want to see that. But I wouldn't mind if, we just got one at a time. I don't want it to be quick, though. I want to have, like, more than just 15 minutes of space battle. Like, I want 45 minutes of epic space battle. Like, I don't expect to get that much. I think we'll probably have, like, 20 to 25 minutes. If we have more than 20 minutes of space battle, I'll feel lucky. But I would love a minimum of 25, and hopefully, like, upwards of, like, 45 minutes of space battle. That would be awesome. That would be really cool. But maybe a Darth Maul Sith Ghost too. That would be really cool. That would be awesome. And of course, Ewan McGregor coming back as well. I want to see all of that stuff, though. I want to see the Force Ghosts, and they'll probably have to come up with some kind of explanation on how they get like Mace Windu to come back as a Force Ghost when he didn't know how to do that. All right, well maybe Qui-Gon talked to him in the spirit world and said, "Hey man, here's how you got to do it. You got to cross your pinkies. That's how you do it. You got to cross your pinkies and say there's no place like home like 3 times, and then you can go back. The harder you cross your pinkies, the more you can go back. You do them lightly, you can only go back for 5 minutes. If you do it longer, you can sit on a log and talk to Luke Skywalker and tell him about his sister and stuff like that. So I'm sure they can come up with it. I don't care what the reasons are, the explanations are. I want to go and have a great time. I want to walk out of the movie theater with my heart pounding, saying, I'm coming back tomorrow to see it again. Like, I want that. That's how I felt walking out of episode 7. Walking out of episode 8, I was a little more shocked. And I needed to process everything. But walking out of 7, it was feel good. It was like, hell yeah. And that's how I want to feel times 10 coming out of this one. That's how I felt coming out of Endgame and Infinity War too. Infinity War was great too. Yeah, so episode 9, I'm really excited about that. But shoot, like we have 2 weeks until The Mandalorian comes out. The Mandalorian too. Oh my goodness, that looks so good too. And The Mandalorian, it looks like his ship is also in the battle at episode 9 too. Which is, I hope it's just a popular class of ship, because it really annoys me. Like, if they're going to put The Mandalorian in episode 9, I'm like, so anytime he ever gets in danger for the entire series, for the entire run of the show, we know he survives. So we don't. That'll ruin so much of the show for me, because that's like the whole point of this, is that he exists in his own. I'm fine if you want to have him do something, but not something that's like 20 years in the future. That means he survives. Not just I don't know. I hope it's ambiguous, and I hope it's like, well, you don't know that was the Mandalorian. It could have just been another ship that looked like his. And if it's like that, then I'm fine with it. But I don't know. I like being on the edge of my seat. I like there being high stakes and not knowing what's going to happen. Like, that's one of the things. Like, Game of Thrones ruined me for TV shows, because I can't, like, if you've ever watched Game of Thrones, like, were you thinking like, oh, well, this guy's the main character. Oh, wait, no, they're dead. Well, this guy's the main character. Okay, it's all about this person now. Okay. Oh, no, they're dead too. Who in the hell is the main character? And people just drop like flies, So now, like, anytime somebody's in danger, you're like, oh, are they going to make it? Like, you really, back in the 80s and 90s and stuff like that, like, you always knew your protagonist was going to survive. Like what every TV show I ever watched as a kid, you always knew, so there was never real doubt, there was nothing, there was never anything of consequence that really happened in TV shows. And then now that the game's changed, but when Star Wars loves to put stuff all over the place, like, oh, everything happens out of order. Well, I know that this person's alive in 60 years, so I know they can't. Like, that's why, that was my big problem with Solo. That Lando, Solo, and Chewie were going to survive, with all their limbs. Like, you knew there was nothing of consequence that could happen to them, because all the rest of their story. So, and yeah, I agree with you about the Obi-Wan series. Absolutely. And of course, it's not going to stop me from watching it at all. The thrill will be a little bit dulled. There's ways they could bring the thrill in. And if I would love for Star Wars to do some alternate universe stuff, like, people need to, like, I want Star Wars to kind of admit that there's a multiverse in Star Wars as well as in Marvel. So this way people can be like, oh, because they didn't kill Legends. They just separated Legends from the cinematic universe. That's all they did. They just said there's two. Legends still exists. It's just over here. We're taking a different path for the films. Like, they didn't kill Legends. It all still exists. It's just in its own, and I'd love for them to, like, maybe make something in Legends at some point too. Like maybe make an Heir to the Empire trilogy series of movies eventually. Old Republic would be cool too. So Dan and Dave from Game of Thrones just are not doing, they're not doing that. So that's gonna be interesting. So yeah, they're not doing the Star Wars trilogy anymore, which is wild. And that's led to a lot of speculation if Rian Johnson's going to be doing his. I kind of hope he is. A lot of people have mixed feelings on Rian Johnson. I loved Episode 8 eventually. Once I saw it enough times, I really loved it. But I also admit that it's not a perfect movie. It's got problems. And one of the problems it has is continuity with the other films. There were so many things that were set up in 7 that he didn't, keep going. He didn't answer to them. He ignored, and I feel like that's a problem. And it makes me think, I was talking to a friend of mine just this past week. Said the criticism is that Rian Johnson didn't want to be in somebody else's universe. He wanted to make his own story. And I'm like, okay, so I still liked a lot of the stuff in Episode 8 an awful lot. So I want to see what he could do if he could make his art. You want your own story? Here's 3 movies. Make your own story. This way you don't have to worry about being beholden to anybody else's universe. Write your own story. Let's see it. And then let's see. I'd love to see how well he could do, because there were some, even if you didn't like The Last Jedi, I think you have to admit that there were some really cool things that happened in that movie. And of course we could talk all day about it. There are criticisms too. I'm not saying it was perfect. It was one of my favorites, probably my favorite. But at the same time, it had flaws. But it also had great things. And so, like, if he wasn't beholden to somebody else's story, and if I wasn't like, well, are you going to explain the Knights of Ren? Are you going to explain the Knights of, if you're not, if I'm not waiting, if I'm not expecting him to answer other people's questions, then maybe he'll do better with his own trilogy. That's a possibility. I hope so. I'd like to be optimistic. I enjoy being optimistic about Star Wars. I enjoy, being happy with this awesome fandom and this great universe. I have a good time with it. Force ghosts being able to interact with the physical world ruins the continuity as well. I don't think it ruins the continuity. It just is something new. It could be that Yoda. I mean, again, it may change something that was established in Legends, because Legends was certainly, but since Legends is its own universe right now, in the current canon, I don't think there is anything that says Force ghosts can never interact with the real world. As a matter of fact, we see Obi-Wan Kenobi sitting on a log in Episode 6, and if he couldn't sit on a log, obviously he had some interaction with the world if he was sitting on a log. Of course, you can also easily say, well, he just did that so Luke would feel more comfortable. Like my point is, I don't think it ruins anything. It could be that Yoda was so much stronger than everybody else that some of that strength carried over into his Force Ghost. Or it could be that the Force Ghost entity, the spirit or the soul or whatever, can grow over time, and maybe Yoda and some of the other Force Ghosts in their little Force Ghost house where they hang out, have been practicing new things, and Yoda learned something new. I mean, I'm oversimplifying there, but it could just be a new power. Yeah, I don't know. I didn't feel like that ruined anything. I thought it was cool, and I will go with stuff that's cool most of the time, because Star Wars is fiction. It is, I love it and it means a lot to me. But in a lot of ways, you got to remember it's just a story about magic space wizards with laser swords and stuff like that. So, and I'm not trying to be, derogatory towards it or anything like that. But I tell myself that sometimes, just to put things in perspective a little bit. If something doesn't work out, there's nothing wrong with admitting, well, you know what, the writers kind of screwed up on that one. It happened. It's happened in a lot of different IPs. Let's see. Kevin Feige working on Star Wars movies. Yes. I'm excited about that too. Kevin Feige has done so well with Marvel, so so well with Marvel. It was magnificent. So I love that. I love that news. I wonder what he's gonna do, you know, and I wonder how much control he's gonna have and for how long of a term. Because you can't just take somebody, no matter how great they are, throw them in the middle of something and say, you get one movie and it better be so good that it fixes the entire Star Wars cinematic universe. It's like it's not going to happen. But, you know, yeah. All right. Well, we do have there's some pretty cool ideas here in the chat. You guys are awesome. I think I'm going to wrap things up, though. And, yeah. I've got to upload some videos and look for the Obi-Wan Essen exclusive from Legion that's coming up tomorrow. Big thanks to JJ from Game Toppers LLC. Check them out too. Josiah hooked me up, so big thank you to him. And I will see you guys soon. I'm getting sleepy now. It's been a long week. All right. I will talk to you guys later. I want to thank you all so much for hanging out with me. Also want to thank all of my patrons on Patreon. You guys are amazing. So thank you guys for your continued support. I will talk to you guys later. Thank you again so much for watching. And as always, have a great day.